Geshe Suntunle, Jamyang School Director, and Deputy Director, Nehru Yuva Kendra, Mamle, other dignitaries, principals, teachers, and the youth, the future of the world, my dear students. So we all know that since December 2022, India has been taken over the presidency of presiding G20 event in India, and then it will be followed till it will be this event or this presidency. It is a very proud moment for India that it is going to happen till November of this year 2023. So it's a very, very unique group or organization, I should say, that apart from G7 or G77. Why is it so? Because in other groups or in other organizations, you see that it comprises of only, either it comprises of either developing countries or either it comprises of a developed countries. So you either find a group of organization, either you have rich countries in that particular organization, or either you have only poor countries. So since we are all one world, where you can find different kind of scenario, different kind of situation, different kind of countries who are different in their economies. So this cannot be a solution where world is, there's so many problems arising in today's world. So we cannot have a single, set or group in a particular organization. So that is why I say that this organization of the G20, which has been presided in India, is a very unique organization. Why? Because we find both developed as well as developing countries. And if we want to bring a solution, we want to bring a solution in today's world where the world is crumbling down, where there's a disparity between rich and poor countries, where the gap is very much widening between the rich and the poor. So this gap is not good. If there are, we know that only 10% of the world economies are controlled by the rich countries. And we can see that maximum number of the population or the countries, they are all poor. So if you find this big, huge gap, the problems related to economies, we talk about equitable economy, we talk about sustainable development, we talk about environmental issues. So that cannot be resolved, but this gap is very, very much widened. So that is why this association or this group is very, very unique, because for the first time we can see that there's developing and as well as developed countries coming together, and they're thinking, they're coming on a single platform and thinking about these certain issues which the world is grappled with. So that is why, and it's a very proud moment for India that G20 has been presided by India since December 2022, and it will go on till November 23. And you all know that the theme of, as ma'am has also mentioned just now, the theme, this is Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which has been taken from a Sanskrit text, and which means that this world is one planet for the one earth, one family, and one future. What does it mean? That this whole earth, where even in we believe as a Buddhist, as maximum, it's since Ladakh, and we have this notion that in Buddhism, like we all are interdependent on each other. We cannot ignore this fact that we all need each other to grow together, to solve all the issues, because, we cannot have a peaceful world, we cannot have a beautiful world until and unless we don't help each other. We all are interdependent on each other, and without helping each other, we cannot come to the solution whatever the world is facing in today's world. You can see that still the Russia-Ukraine war is going on. Beside having UN as an international organization, which which is an epitome, or which is an international organization for peace and cooperation, and still it has failed, and we haven't come to the solution where Russia and Ukraine are still under war. There's so much conflicts going on in West Asia. After this, and moreover, we have just come out of this pandemic situation. The world had been grappled with COVID, isn't it? And then we know that the economies have been crumbling down. The whole world, the world around ourselves, the great economies, even if we just look at the neighboring country, Sri Lanka, it has crumbled down. The economies have crumbled down. And so now, even the Chinese economy, which was said to be, one of the dragon, which was like grappling the economy, it was, assumed that China will one day will be the world's largest economy. So even that, even China's economy is crumbling down. So we can say that after COVID, the situation, and then on top of that, these wars that is still happening, that is Russia and Ukraine, and then various conflicts over ethnicity, over religion, over economies, to have a sustainable, to have an equity related economy. So it is grappling, all this situation has become worse. So in this certain scenario, so the question is whether, by involving ourselves in wars or conflict, is this a solution? Do we get the solution? So what is the solution? By participating in the war is not a solution. So that is why now, it's a very unique thing, and it's a very proud moment that India, being a developing world, India being a very so-called poor world, now that all the countries of the world, big countries, superpowers like Russia, like China, like Japan, they are now looking at India, and they're hoping and they are expecting that India will lead this torch of peace and harmony. Now they are looking up to India, that India might be a hope, just as it is when there was a Cold War situation going on after the Second World War, after 1945. Then India had come up with this idea of NAM in 1961, where there were like 120 members in this organization. So just like that, when India played a very, very important role in curbing the situation of Cold War, by not participating in the war, by not staying away from the war, but by being a participant to resolve this conflict where US and USSR were, were in war with each other, and were, where they wanted to become the superpower, where there is this competition of becoming a superpower. And you know that after that, US hegemony started on, and we can say that US lead the world. So today we don't need one singular power or one singular country to lead the world. So things have to be changed now. One superpower or one powerful country cannot decide the fate of the entire world until and unless there's more inclusion or more inclusiveness or more participation of the other world, whether it's developing or developed, until and unless they don't get together, until and unless they don't come together, we don't support each other, or in a way we say that multilateral kind of an organization is a need of our hour in today's world, where we don't want one country to rule, where we don't want one country to decide. So this is what it is. I think G20 is a very great platform where we could see this, that okay, now multilateral organization, or amalgamation of developed as poor as well as rich countries, they're coming together and working, and they're bringing on a solution. What can we, how the environmental problem, or maybe it is about sustainable development, maybe it is about women empowerment, education, health sector, all these aspects. 32, I think there are different aspects on which we know that right now in India, in different parts of this, in different states, right now G20 is going on, and it is going to happen soon in Ladakh as well. And what else? Since India being a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multilingual country, which is a very, very unique country in itself, what else can be a better example to the world than India, where after every 50 or 100 kilometers, we see that cultures change, language change, food habits change. And this is exactly how we can bring in peace into the world, that with the help by showing our culture, through culture, through ideas, through sports, through values, we can bring all the countries together, economies. And since we know that G20 works on the upliftment, or to work on the stability, to bringing out stability of economy in the world. So what else can be better than this? Where we can just showcase our culture, and as well as we already know that India being a heritage, where heritage, where we have this rich heritage, and where we can showcase to the rest of the world, and where heritage tourism exists, isn't it? So this is how, through tourism, through exposing our culture, through our rich culture, through our values, and by working on the heritage tourism, we can bring more economies. We can have a stable economy through culture, and this is how economy can grow. So this is one of the solutions that where India can be seen as a benchmark. And moreover, so this is how, and Ladakh, especially since we are a Ladakhi, so we can showcase. And what else? It's such a great event that today this youth festival is going on in Jamyang School, where Jamyang School, this school is very, very, what do you say, that it is another very, where that His Holiness sponsors this school, and that His Holiness is an epitome of, peace and peace, love and compassion. So this is exactly what we need in today's world. And Ladakh, where India projects that it is always, if you look at the past of India, there have been many great people who have inspired and have always worked on love, compassion, and compassion always. If you give example of Mahatma Gandhi, who had always worked on ahimsa. So he has always given, despite of the atrocities done by the Britishers, Mahatma Gandhi brought freedom to this country because of his ideologies of ahimsa. If you could look to Samrat Ashok, the king who gave up war after Kaling War, so India has given to these kind of brave people like Samrat Ashok that after giving up Kaling War, he spread so much love, he took up peace, and he decided that he would spread love and compassion to the whole world, and it went till Greece, isn't it? And now in this situation when India is grappling after the COVID situation where economies crumbled down, and then, and this various conflicts and war that is happening in the world, India did not stood back. India was always there. Indian doctors, Indian scientists, Indians were working hard, and they came up with the vaccine, and they could help the entire world to come out of this COVID pandemic situation. And where Sri Lanka was crumbling down with this economy, India was always there to support the economies, and it supported Sri Lanka. India was the first country as a neighbor. So this is what India gives an example, that you always have to stood by your neighbor. And during the Cold War situation, it was India that created NAM and tried to stop this ugly war, which could have changed into a third world again, where US and USSR were into too much conflict, and where we could also witness, if NAM was not created, if India would not have intervened there, we could have faced another third world war, isn't it? So India had really played a very significant role in harbinger peace, in harbinger love, in harbinging compassion around the world. And this is what we have, and we should be very proud that we are Indians, okay? And on top of that, we are Ladakhi, and Ladakhi are meant to, to be soul, pure soul. We are very grounded, we are very humble, we have always been in living in, with great, alignment, or we can say with great, always we have been living together with the aesthetic of the land. We have been very humble, and we have always respected the environment. We have always respected other human beings. We have always accepted tourists or other people who are coming and visiting here, and we have been showcasing our heritage and culture. This is what we all have to keep it up. We have to keep up this spirit. And as ma'am has already mentioned that, we have these challenges despite of all these things, that, obviously the sustainable development, the future of Ladakh or India or with all the world, it depends on the youth of the country, isn't it? So you as a student, you as a youth, okay, I'll just say that you should really, you should really work hard. You should really put, time has changed. We are exposed, after becoming youth, you must have realized that many demography, whether it's geography, whether it's political, everything has changed. You must have, you must have realized that now you are exposed to so many challenges, and there's so much to do, and I'm very sure that the youth, the Ladakhi youth, they have a lot of potential in them. It's just that you need to realize your potential. You need to, come out of your comfort zone, and you have to work first for yourself, and then for your community, and then for your country, region, and country, and the world, isn't it? So again, I would like to appeal to today's youth to come forward, to work hard. Don't be lazy, don't be shy, and moreover, if you are grappled with any kind of drug abuse, which is a very serious issue nowadays, which is been, I don't know, it's a very, nowadays, these youth are falling into the trap of drug abuse or substance abuse. So even I appeal that, think, like, how is it going to help you in future? If you fall into this trap, then there's no way to come out of it. So please, today's youth, you are the future. So through your commitment, through your hard work and through your creativity, you can build a very strong nation. And again, India is an example of peace and love and compassion. But within India, you can be, you can lead India as an exemplary, because we have that thing in it. Okay, so I appeal to the youth that you please, so that the responsibility is on your shoulder. So you should have to work very hard. very, very hard to achieve your goals and to be sustainable. Because charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. Because, and you are the